So as we have seen so far with the FTC versus Microsoft case, there have been documents that have come out that show that Xbox was looking to make many acquisitions. They have a list of potential mergers and acquisitions with some big publishers on that list. And the list that we have seen showed publishers like Sega and IO Interactive, some big names that you would think would fit perfectly within the Xbox ecosystem and the Xbox platform. But there is one company out there that we could say had a kind of a rocky relationship with Xbox in terms of not putting games on the platform and keeping those games exclusive to PlayStation. And that company is Square Enix. So believe it or not, Microsoft actually wanted to acquire Square Enix as a part of their plan for mobile Game Pass. This has come out during day 4 of this trial. So let's read through what this says. Microsoft wanted to acquire Square Enix as part of the Xbox Mobile Game Pass. And this comes via some documents that were released as a part of this hearings. And according to these documents, Microsoft had a number of reasons for being interested in Square Enix. First of all, it says part of it was to bolster Xbox's historically scant presence in Asian markets, which I think if you do purchase up Square Enix, it's a huge move for Xbox, especially in Japan. And you look at what right now is going on with Square Enix and Xbox with them holding games off of the platform. You can go back to it. Phil Spencer was talking about during his questioning about PlayStation being a hostile competitor and making sure games just don't show up on the Xbox platform. PlayStation has done that now with massive Square Enix games with Final Fantasy VII Remake and with Final Fantasy 16. I mean, that's fair game. It's not that that's an anti-competitive move or anything, but Xbox is probably looking at this type of stuff and thinking, if we want to get into the Asian markets, we want to grow in Japan, we want to have these games on our platform, PlayStation is going to continue to try to make these deals. And how can we circumvent this? We purchase up the entire publisher. Obviously, that's a huge reason why they would be considering Square Enix. And it says here, there was another obvious reason to add more content to drive growth of Xbox Game Pass through new blockbuster Square Enix releases, as well as the company's extensive backlog. Of course, that would be massive for the catalog and for the subscription service. And a surprising reason for the potential acquisition was to gain a step up in mobile, which could help future mobile exclusive Game Pass offerings. Obviously, the entire narrative around mobile gaming as to why Microsoft and Xbox are trying to make this acquisition of Activision Blizzard, it keeps coming up. And it's not just with Activision Blizzard. We're seeing it here with Square Enix. They probably looked at all of these potential mergers and acquisitions and thought, these are companies that we can build a mobile portfolio off of and then go out there and try to compete with Apple and with Google. We even saw that they were going to try and purchase Zynga before Take-Two purchased them. So mobile is a huge, huge focus for Xbox, whether you like it or not. I don't care for mobile games. So to me, I have zero interest in them doing anything mobile, but it makes sense from a business perspective. I don't think this would mean they would abandon any other part of their business. It's just going to add another side to it, which would bring in more money and also help them grow. And PlayStation is doing the same thing. You look at the PlayStation Mobile division that they have opened up. So mobile going forward is going to be a massive focus for these traditional companies like Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, where we think firstly of console gaming and big AAA titles. Now it continues here and says, currently Game Pass supports Xbox and PC, but it looks like Microsoft has some broader plans in the past. And here is a quote from the documents. It says, combining Square Enix's robust mobile native portfolio with our own could potentially help us create a mobile native Xbox Game Pass SKU. And again, we've heard about this already. And I think this is actually a pretty good move for consumers overall. If Xbox were to be able to make a specific game store, a new Xbox Game Pass SKU just for mobile gaming, and then go out there and compete with the likes of Apple and Google and just kind of push more competition into that space. Because of right now, you really only have two choices. And I think Xbox could be a massive player in there. And you add in as well cloud gaming to that, where people are going to be playing these huge, big, demanding AAA games on their phone because of that technology. So I think this would have been crazy if they were able to get Square Enix. Now, there are some other very interesting things that did come out of Bobby Kotick speaking in court. And one of the major things is just how big Call of Duty is. And this was actually an accident. There was a document that was put out and it was supposed to have redacted information, but they just used a black pen or marker or something to take out some of the numbers that they didn't want out there for everybody to see. But that all came out because you could scan the document and see right through the black pen. It's actually hilarious how this occurs with very important information for these companies. And it says here, in one of these happy accidents, it was revealed that Call of Duty as a franchise has raked in more than $27 billion during its 20-year and then some lifetime. That's a figure taken from 2020, so it's almost certainly way above 30 billion right now. So as of 2020, it had made $27 billion, which is just absolutely insane. And we look at games with like Modern Warfare 2, which made $1 billion in just 10 days. And it's the biggest game out there. It makes the most amount of money. So this isn't surprising, but that is a massive number that is just going to continue to grow. And if you're Xbox, you're Microsoft, you're looking at this number, adding that over all to your revenues and everything. It's a huge gain for growing Microsoft and Xbox in terms of comparing it to the other big companies out there. They're going to have a big boost in their revenues when they're doing those comparisons of the biggest video game companies in the world, just from Call of Duty. And then you think about all of the other IPs that they were going to be adding into that. So pretty crazy. But then there is also this, that it says here, further to that figure, another eagle-eyed user noted that it had been referenced that Call of Duty enjoys anything from 7 to 10 million daily active users across the board, which is an insane figure. You look at some games that they announce that they just reached 10 million players overall for the entire game after months of it being out. This is daily active users for Call of Duty. So it is the biggest franchise in gaming. It's mammoth. It doesn't make any sense how insane these numbers are, which is why if you're PlayStation looking at this, you want to block this deal, as your biggest competitor is going to have the biggest game. Now, we also found out some other interesting stuff here, that Bobby Kotick was questioned about Game Pass and the subscription service. And honestly, this isn't surprising. This is actually what he probably should be saying if he does want this deal to go through. He does want to win this case in court. And it is that he does not like Xbox Game Pass, and in no world does he see putting Call of Duty on the service outside of this deal, essentially. So here is what he says. He says, I have a general aversion to the idea of multi-game subscription services. Maybe part of it is being Los Angeles and having a large, big media companies move their content to these subscription streaming services, and the business results have suffered. He also goes on here and says, in response to the services, that they would evaluate them about potentially the possibility of companies' games coming onto these subscription service. And also it talks about why would he want this deal if Microsoft is all about Xbox Game Pass. And he says, I don't agree with the idea of multi-game subscription service as a business proposition going forwards, but we, Activision and Microsoft, can agree to disagree. I mean, you look at the numbers. It would make absolutely no sense in any world for Call of Duty to take a money bag from PlayStation or from Xbox with Call of Duty to put it into a subscription service at $27 to $30 billion as amount of money that they've made. I mean, there's no reason for them to try to put these games into any subscription service and to do anything else other than charge the full premium price for this game every single year, because people buy them. So pretty interesting stuff here. And we will see what else comes out from day 4 as well as tomorrow, which will be the last day. But I will leave the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.